So, it looks like Governor of California Gavin Newsom is quite the hypocrite. So this article came to my email. It didn't come from any of my subscribers, but I won't be surprised if any of my subscribers get wind of this, that they won't send it to me by the time this video will have already been recorded and possibly uploaded. So according to the AP, the Associated Press, and this story literally just came out 5 minutes ago, and I'm recording it on November 15th, 2020. Apparently, Gavin Newsom went to some kind of a party. I think he went to a birthday party. And he did this while he urged restrictions for his state of California because of the woo-woo. And here he is setting a bad example by attending this party. I'm just curious to see what kind of an excuse he's going to come up with. But let's read this and see what we can find out. For months, Governor Gavin Newsom has pleaded with Californians to resist the temptation to socialize with friends and relatives outside of their household. Turns out he's the one who couldn't resist. Newsom acknowledged Friday he attended a birthday party with a dozen friends on November 6th at the posh French Laundry restaurant in Wine Country, north of San Francisco. While our family followed the restaurant's health protocols and took safety precautions, we should have modeled better behavior and not joined the dinner, he said in a statement. His choice to do so could harm his credibility and alter his messaging as the state of nearly 40 million enters a critical holiday stretch with virus cases surging and health officials blaming the increase on social gatherings. Sherry Bibich, Jeffy, a professor of public policy communication at the University of Southern California, noted people across the state have been canceling birthday parties, funerals, and other important events to abide by the rules. Now, if Newsom tries to tighten the rules again, he may have lost some credibility. This was totally unnecessary. He didn't have to do this, she said. Newsom and state and local health officials have urged people to stay within their own households. If people must visit others, they should meet outside, include no more than 3 households, wear masks, and stay socially distant, and limit their interaction to 2 hours. The dinner, first reported Friday by the San Francisco Chronicle, included 12 people sitting outside of the famed restaurant in Napa County. It was in celebration of the 50th birthday of Jason Kenney, a Newsom friend and political advisor. Newsom's wife also attended. According to the Chronicle, representatives for Kenney and Newsom declined to specify how many households the diners represented, but did not dispute that it was more than 3. Newsom's spokesman, Nathan Click, did not answer questions from the Associated Press about whether Newsom was tested for the virus after attending or if he wore a mask when he wasn't eating or drinking, as he urged Californians to do. 3 days after the party, Newsom held his usual Monday news conference on the virus and spoke about how the state's cases were at the highest levels in months and attributed to social gatherings, including at Halloween. So this guy was he literally a couple days later had a whole press conference probably urging people not to do something, and now it just comes out that he was being a hypocrite just a few days before. Of course he wasn't going to say nothing. He's probably mad that it got out there. That's why I put this picture up there right now, because he looks sick. Not sick as in he has the virus, but sick as in, damn, they caught me. Did he really think he would not get caught? You are the governor of California, a state that literally has probably one of the most populated, if not the most populated state in America. And this is what you're doing. And on top of that, I think Gavin Newsom is, I'm not sure what his political leanings is. I think he's a Democrat. Y'all can let me know down in the comments. If he is, they're going to tear his ass up. They're going to light his ass on fire if he is. Not saying that they wouldn't do it if he wasn't, but you know, in this state that we're in, they're definitely going to tear him a new one. The next day, Dr. Mark Galley, head of the California Health and Human Services Agency, made similar remarks at his news conference. Click didn't answer a question about whether Galley was aware Newsom attended the party before it was reported. At a media briefing Friday, Galley declined to discuss Newsom's behavior, but he said high-risk activities include eating and drinking and gathering with people outside of a household. State guidelines limit gatherings defined as social situations that bring together people from different households at the same time in a single space or place to no more than 3 households. It's unclear if the rule applies to restaurants, however, which follow different guidance. Just because we're personally close to someone, a family member, a really close friend who we haven't seen in a while, that doesn't create comfort when it comes to the virus. Republicans quickly jumped on the news as evidence of hypocrisy as Newsom, a first-term Democrat, well, that answers that for me, urges Californians to stay home. The California GOP said in a tweet that the governor seems to be talking out of the both sides of his neck. And how did I know that they were going to do that? I literally said that before I even read this part of the article, that if he was a Democrat, they were going to jump on that shit. Because let's be real, if he was a Republican, they would probably try to give him cover. But because he's a Democrat and because what's going on with this election and, you know, 45 and all of that stuff, they going to find and nitpick every little thing they possibly can. Assemblyman Kevin Kiley, a Republican who has sued Newsom over his authority to implement virus-related restrictions, said businesses had been asking Newsom for data to back up his decision to limit their seating. He has yet to answer. The best evidence we have to look to is his own personal conduct, which seems to be out of step in general with the policies that he's putting in place, Kiley said. But the criticism extended beyond Newsom's partisan political opponents. Andrew Neumer, a public health professor at the University of California, Irvine, said the news was embarrassing for the governor. People should practice what they preach, Norman said, but he added, I don't know if we need to tar and feather him every day from now until the end of the pandemic for this. Oh, they're going to do it. And this is not going to look good for him if he's trying to go and be reelected, because they're going to look right back at this situation right here, and they're going to pick up this one incident and they're going to use that against him. I guarantee you in 2022, not 2022, wait a minute. Yeah, 2022, when those midterms come up, when he's up for re-election, that's what's going to end up happening. I guarantee it. And if he loses, that's on him. That would be his own stupidity for doing it. Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? And then, like I said, this whole thing now makes him look like a hypocrite. And Gavin Newsom, ever since this thing really kicked off, he hasn't been one of the most well-liked governors on the surface. Now they're really going to dislike him. And if he thinks that him going up against the Republicans, say, of other states coming at him, he's going to have to think twice, because now he's going to have California residences going at his neck. Remember, he is the governor of a state that has 40+ million people in it. They like, so we couldn't do this and that, but here you are going to parties and shit. And we stuck at home. And you tell us that one thing and you're doing another. And then wasn't going to say anything. I think that's the biggest thing about it. He wasn't transparent. He was not going to say anything. He ended up getting outed. And then had to make a statement. He was not going to say, like, he went to that party on Friday, held a press conference Monday about social distancing, and he got outed, and then now he gives a statement. I think that's the other thing. He wasn't going to say anything. And that's going to leave a bad taste in the residents' mouth. Rob Stutzman, who was communications director for former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, said it doesn't help that Newsom dined at one of the ritziest restaurants in the country at a time when many Californians are suffering economically. He said the governor should apologize for attending. The 3-star Michelin restaurant has maintained its $350 per person tasting menu served in an outdoor dining room during the pandemic. It also added a number of other options, including a $450 per person menu for parties of up to 12 people that can be served indoors or outside, and another for $850. The restaurant requires all reservations to be paid in advance. Do you hear the prices of the plates per person? My goodness, they said the lowest is $350. And I think that's also going to leave a bad taste. It's like, damn, we couldn't even go out to even the most, not even a ritzy restaurant where we have to pay that kind of money. We could probably have enough, to pay less than $100 for an entire meal. And we can't even do that yet. You can go out into a restaurant, whether it's inside or outside dining, where you're paying at minimum $350 per person. It ain't looking good for Gavin. It's really tone deaf in the fact that it is at one of the most elite restaurants in the world could really haunt him, he said. adding the issue is sure to feature in campaign ads when Newsom is up for re-election in 2022, which is something I also just said is going to look good. It's going to look bad for his campaign run in 2 years. Newsom and his wife pay for their own meals. Click said, who cares if they pay for their own meals or not? It's the fact that he recklessly went there after telling the people of California to social distance and been harping on that for months. And here he is going out to parties and whatnot. And then going to a very fancy restaurant where you're paying a lot of money per person, maybe even per plate. And people can't even go and sit inside of, I'll use a West Coast fast food spot. They can't even go and sit inside of an In-N-Out. But this guy can go dine at a fancy restaurant during a pandemic while telling others to social distance. And even then, his people aren't being transparent. They said they don't know if he tested positive for the virus. We don't know if he took the test, him or his wife. I don't know if they have children or not. And if they do, I don't know if they are grown or what have you. So, yeah, they going to definitely use this against him during that campaign run when he's up for re-election. And like I said, if he doesn't get reelected, it's going to be because of this. I'm telling you, a lot of reelections are going to be on the table in 2022 based off of what happened this year. It's going to be a lot of new faces going into those seats. It's going to be a lot of sad faces leaving. And there might be some faces that look like Gavin Newsom's on the screen. They're going to be looking real sick if they don't get reelected. If he gets reelected, it's only going to be by the skin of his teeth based off of this most recent stunt, because at this point, that's all you can call it. It's this recent stunt that he just pulled. But y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. And if you live in California, please let me know how you feel about this.